Captain's Log, Subdate 200723.8. I firmly believe that dead men tell no tales, so I have ensured that one mermaid lives, along with giving them a vastly superior schematic to the trebuchet. If they want to bring a war, they can start from square one. Welcome everyone to the exhibition of stupid people. Today we have a number of subjects to go through. I can't remember the exact number, so a number, pick it. By all means, we have that many. Prepare to be disappointed when it's not as many as you think. To go through, before we get into that, I am streaming on Twitch later tonight. If you'd like to join me for some casual, trucking? No, it's Assassin's Creed! That's what we're doing tonight. Link to my Twitch down below. To start, I want to talk about a lady called Jenna Phillips from Texas. Jenna Phillips was an optician. While she was doing that, though, she was posting what is more commonly considered vanilla content to her OnlyFans account. But, owing to how she grew up and what she always wanted to be, she decided with lockdown to explore it. So she did, into what is now called pet play, which means being put on a leash, taken for a walk, bathed, and this content gets uploaded to her OnlyFans, which has led to her now earning up to 6 figures a month, acting like a dog. I can't hate the player. Damn, that's impressive. What I found fascinating in the part I want to poke a little fun at is the salt, because there was some, those who felt it was those damn pesky millennials. How dare they be entrepreneurs? How dare they make money by acting like a dog? Granted, she was naked for a fair amount of it. By all means, if you want to watch that, go follow her OnlyFans. I'm not linking it. The name, though, is That Puppy Girl. Go nuts. As many of you will be undoubtedly aware, there are such things like beauty pageant contests. Miss, and then respective country. Miss, respective continent. Miss, respective planet. There are others, of course, and for this we're going to use Miss Swimsuit UK, Jasmine Archer-Jones, who was stripped of her title over a Facebook post, along with it emerging that her actor boyfriend shared an anti-BLM meme stating that white privilege is a leftist lie. So what I'm getting from this early on is she lost her title for wrongthink, failing a purity test, and guilt by association. So first we're going to look at the Facebook post from the boyfriend. Todd Markey. Couldn't have said it better myself. White guilt is real. White privilege is a leftist lie. With a lot of white people protesting. I don't actually know the context of that particular picture, so it is just a meme, but which lacks a fair amount of context. The Facebook post, though, is quite interesting, because it is quite lengthy, but also has quite a lot of information within it. So, Jasmine Archer-Jones, personal opinion. If you don't want to know, don't read. This is ridiculous now. It has to stop. All lives matter. If you look deeply into statistics, more unarmed white people died than black last year, 19-9. Think about that. Yes, what happened to George Floyd was wrong and unforgivable, but so is what happens to many other people of different races in similar situations. Yet they don't get to protest, loot, take over social media, create a day for their race, or even raise $10.3 million in aid of the person who passed. The majority of crime and deaths regarding black people is caused by black-on-black crime that happens in America. Innocent people are dying because of the riots proven by this article. Innocent businesses are also suffering. What for? It doesn't bring the person back. It defiantly doesn't bring justice for the family. Definitely, I think she meant. In my opinion, people are using this tragic event as an excuse to let loose after being struck inside quarantining for months. Yes, some people may say George Floyd died when he was innocent, but I'm yet to see hard evidence of this. There is video footage of him refusing to get out of his car, which warrants for the police officers to use whatever means necessary to restrain the person. He also supposedly had drugs in his system, but I doubt they'll release the autopsy now. Now, there is a lot more to this post, and yes, as you go further down, yes, I am very much aware that it will cause quite a considerable amount of division. But if we're looking at UK statistics, which is where she is referring, it is accurate. It is always going to be difficult to talk about a global issue through something that happens in one nation. It's also worth acknowledging that just because one person has an opinion doesn't mean they should be purity tested as an ambassador to something they have won fairly. If somebody has to pass a political lesson first or a test, I think a lot of people won't bother entering for reasons that are fairly obvious. So the idiot in this could be argued to be Jasmine Archer-Jones for putting her opinion out there, but actually I blame those that decided to take a title away from her because she had an opinion. Apparently she's meant to be eye candy and eye candy only. As many of you will know, there's been quite a furore around the beauty community on YouTube. This has spilled into the real world with businesses taking a bit of a hit. Cancel culture has struck, and there have been consequences. I am not going to go and recite what happened. I am merely going to address, though, the Jeffree Star explanation video. His, I guess you could call it, apology video, where he does acknowledge all these things that he did, which is fantastic. He skips over most of it, though, which isn't so fantastic. Merely blanket statementing a fair amount for the sake of... Actually, I have no idea why he did that. It came across as flippant and therefore not a very good apology. He did apologise to James Charles, whose name has been dragged through the mud. You can decide whether he deserved it or not. I don't particularly care. He defended Shane Dawson, who has suffered considerable backlash. Shocker. He then went on to humble brag about how inclusive his company is. This is the order of events. It was a 10-minute video. It took about 5 minutes to work out, because I sped it up, where the decent spots were. Apologising to James Charles was one thing, bragging about all the amazing people we know nothing about, and his company, the inclusivity, defending his friendship to Shane Dawson. It was one of the more articulate of YouTube apologies, because usually, as many will know, a YouTube apology is structured in a rather simplistic manner. You say you're sorry, and then you spend the rest of however long your video is undoing your apology. In Jeffree Star's, he acknowledges he's done bad things. He doesn't say explicitly which ones, and has said he will not be drawn in on those discussions, which is interesting, because people still want to discuss it, because they want to make sure he fully understands what he's saying sorry for, which is why many people downvoted that video to the point where it has almost as many downvotes as it has upvotes. Clever. I'm starting to see why you turned the comments off, because you're brave. I do believe one of the main issues with people when it came to what had happened was Jeffree Star said nothing until most of it had blown over. He had gone into his own little bunker in the Hollywood Hills, probably in that very mansion you heard the echo in, because many creators who live in mansions can't be bothered to use soundproofing or a clip-on mic. Although I will say that house did look quite nice. While hiding in one's bunker, one did not then decide to address it early on, nip it in the bud, but to let events play out, which in the long run have hurt him and other people. Granted, it probably won't mean much when many creators start to say, I'm no longer going to buy Jeffree Star's product. I will no longer be a subscriber to Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, and all the others within this little circle jerk of creators who start fights on each other, to then start fights on each other, to then start fights on each other, like a snake eating its own tail. It is an endless cycle. I just look forward to the day you all bib yourselves. So as far as the apology goes, with it taking as long as it did for Jeffree Star to make the apology, which was a bit weak because he's swept a lot of what is important under a rug and refuses to move that rug, it's actually quite a bad apology. Now granted, he could well have just reached out to those people privately and apologised, which is fine, that is what people do when you're grown-ups, but it's a tricky area, isn't it, when you're a YouTube creator and you're a part of a very toxic environment, starting fights with others and calling them things that are borderline libel. In fact, I think some of it was. It is dangerous when you seek to cause harm to others and potentially destroy their own brand, cause shiggles. It is a dangerous work environment. I was considering on Monday doing a video on apologies, on YouTube ones. I think I'm going to do one on online harassment instead. Something more recent came up on Twitter where I have now been name-dropped. Well done. You blocked me, though. You're as brave as Jeffree Star is with the comments. You may have noticed this exhibition of stupid people is shorter, and that's because I had actually forgotten to get sources. I did have the 3 subjects we have today, but the only other subjects I had prepared or considered was the autonomous zone in Portland, but I think I'll save that for another day, and Siberia in Russia having some of the most regressive laws when it comes to cartoon depictions of people, cause sexuality. Again, though, I need to look into that more and flesh it out. I didn't show the Jeffree Star video. It is still on his channel. The reason why is because the echo bugs me so much when you're in a massive room and you project your voice. It is frustrating. With the 3 subjects we've covered today, though, I'd love to know what you think. There is a lot more to the Miss Bikini UK or Swimsuit UK with the rest of the message, but I am saving that for another day as well, once things have concluded. Anyway, if I don't see you on Twitch tonight, have a cracking Thursday, and thank you all for listening.